The Bible tells a story about a man named Abram and his wife, Sarai. They loved each other very much. God promised Abram that he would have many descendants as numerous as the stars. But Sarai was getting old, and she couldn't have children. She felt sad and worried. One day Sarai came up with a plan. She told Abram to have a child with her servant Hagar. This was a common practice in those days. Abram listened to his wife and had a son with Hagar. They named him Ishmael. At first, Sarai was happy with the arrangement. But as Ishmael grew older, Sarai became jealous of Hagar and her son. She treated Hagar harshly, and Hagar felt very mistreated. Hagar couldn't bear it anymore, so she ran away into the desert. Hagar was alone and scared in the vast wilderness. She didn't know what to do or where to go. She sat down by a spring of water and began to cry. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord appeared to Hagar. The angel asked her, "Where have you come from? And where are you going?" Hagar told the angel her story. She was surprised that God had seen her suffering. The angel gave Hagar a message from God. He told her to go back to Sarai and submit to her. Even though it was difficult, God would be with her, and most importantly, God promised to make Ishmael into a great nation. Years later, God appeared to Abram again. But this time, God changed Abram's name to Abraham. This new name meant father of many nations. God also changed Sarai's name to Sarah, which meant princess. God made a special agreement with Abraham called a covenant. He promised that Abraham's descendants would be as numerous as the stars in the sky. They would inherit the land of Canaan. To signify this covenant, God asked Abraham and all the men in his household to be circumcised. Circumcision was a sign of the special relationship between God and Abraham's descendants. It was a reminder of God's promises and their faithfulness to him. Abraham obeyed God's command and was circumcised, along with all the males in his household. God reaffirmed his promise to Abraham and Sarah. He told them that Sarah would have a son. They would name him Isaac. Abraham was 100 years old and Sarah was 90. They were both very old. When Sarah heard this, she laughed. She thought it was impossible for her to have a child at her age. But God told Abraham, "Is anything too hard for the Lord?" A year later, Sarah gave birth to a son, just as God had promised. They named him Isaac, which means laughter. Isaac was a miracle baby, a testament to God's faithfulness to his promises. He would inherit God's covenant with Abraham. Abraham's life wasn't just about receiving God's blessings, it was also about reflecting God's heart. When God decided to judge the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham was deeply troubled. He knew righteous people like his nephew Lot lived there. Abraham boldly approached God and pleaded for mercy. He bargained with God, asking if he would spare the cities if even a small number of righteous people were found. This event shows us Abraham's compassionate heart and his faith in a just God. Even though the cities were eventually destroyed, Abraham's intercession reveals his deep concern for others and his belief in God's willingness to show mercy. These stories from Genesis teach us about faith, promise, and God's faithfulness. Even when things seem impossible, God keeps his promises. He blesses those who trust in him. Abraham and Sarah's story reminds us that God can do amazing things if we have faith and believe in his power.